bring in Adam Zaczkowski here on the broadcast. Adam, how you doing? Doing very well. So, as I said in the intro here, I got to keep having you on the show because y'all won't stop swimming. So, what's life been like that you keep on going this season and keep finding more life, just what it's meant to you to know that your swimmers just keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Yeah. So we ended our conference championships a couple weeks ago at Worcester. We kept everybody. We got people in the pool going, and we just finished ECAC championships in Annapolis, Maryland, at the beautiful Naval Academy this past weekend. And then we're gonna keep on keeping on, and headed off to Indianapolis on Sunday for NCAA Nationals with our sophomore diver Justin Byrne.
And you look at nationals with Justin Burns, just what that means to you that you have one of your student athletes in nationals, and just what you could say about Justin, his work, and getting to this point. If you saw that this was something that could happen for him, or if this is something that through the season just kind of excelled in a special way. Did you envision him being here at this point, or is this something where he pleasantly surprised you?
I don't think there's anything guaranteed in sport. So
Yeah.
no, you never just pack the bags quite soon. Justin's has an interesting story. He was coached by our former head diving coach Jack Gibbons when he was in high school at West Genesee. Jack passed away unexpectedly a couple of years ago. Still think about Jack, pretty frequently. But Justin came to LeMoyne. His brother also came to LeMoyne. His brother was a national diver. And Justin kind of was wondering about what should I do? Should I dive? Should I not dive? And we had, kind of some intensive meetings getting him kind of ready to get back on that board at the beginning of his freshman year last year. He qualified for nationals last year. Certainly was an eye-opening experience for us. It was down in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the that's a beautiful pool. They have ACC just finished their conference championship meet there last couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so we were down there last year. We did well. There were certainly obviously places for us to get better. So we came back. We regrouped, sat down with our strength and conditioning coach Ben Gall at LeMoyne, and basically wrote a custom diving practice or custom diving workout, strength and conditioning wise, to kind of really get Justin the strength necessary in his legs to really get off that board, get him to rotate faster. And he qualified for nationals much earlier this year. So in the 21-22 campaign, it was towards the end of the season. It was a little bit of a shock. This year was, we qualified in October. So we've been planning for this for 5-6 months now. And so Justin, my colleague Mihaly Zitsas, who's our head diving coach, and I have been kind of working through everything to get us ready to get to Indianapolis. And so our bags are packed and we're ready to go.
And when you speak on, Justin Burns, and like you said, qualifying in October and having all this time, how do you balance it all when you have the regular season for the team? You're going to have the NE10s. You hope for an ECAC or an extension of that. And at the same time, you have, in this case, Justin getting ready for nationals. How do you kind of keep that all balanced and working together fluidly, as you know that there's different pieces that are essentially moving on and moving forward, but you still have to focus on the task at hand that day?
Because swimming and diving are individual sports, we have kind of different training plans, schedules for most of our groups. So we break down our program into a sprint group, a middle distance group, and a distance group. And obviously we also break it down for our divers too.
Yeah.
And so kind of everybody's at a different point. So we knew people that were going to our swimmers going to ECACs had a little bit of a different training and taper plan than our swimmers just at Northeast 10s. And then with Justin, we didn't bring him down to ECACs. We wanted to give him a weekend on campus with friends. We didn't want him to be, missing 3 out of 5 weekends. So we kept him home this past weekend, so he had some more time on the boards at LeMoyne and had some, kind of mental relaxation. Then kind of we're going to gear up this past week or this next week and get down there again.
And like you said, when you have different student athletes doing different things, this being your first season as the head coach of the team after being on the team and also being an assistant, what have you learned about the orchestration of all of this and trying to keep it all together and making sure that each of your student athletes feels like they have your focus and your time?
I frequently say there's one of me and 40 of you. And so,
yeah.
So we have to, the patience is a key here, right? There's time for everyone. There's a place for everyone. I got to get through, the list. As crazy as it sounds or as simple as it sounds, paper calendars, right? Everyone's so tied to their electronic devices, but we have paper calendars so that people can see, touch, and feel.
Yeah.
And it allows us to have kind of these constant reminders of, hey, this is coming up, this is happening. And so we utilize, pencil and paper and calendars and the basic planning tools just to make sure that we get everything going. Also in my office, we have a 4-month planning calendar. So we're always 120 days ahead. So we kind of keep our eye, forward thinking. It's not that we overlook things currently, but we know what's coming down the pike. And so we're always ahead to make sure that we don't miss those little things.
Here with Adam Zaczkowski, the head coach of LeMoyne Dolphins, a men's and women's swimming and diving team, as they come back from the ECAC and Justin Byrne gets ready for nationals. Adam, for you, like you said, you have more to go here. You have Indy coming up, but this season for you, the first season at the helm, what have you seen as you reflect upon yourself? I always say that it's that time for all of us to look in the mirror, right? To reflect on things. I do a project or I do a show or I do something new in the community. You go to the mirror, you look in the mirror and you reflect on things. When you do look in the mirror this season, what are you reflecting on?
I think naturally you celebrate the wins and then you contemplate what could we have done better? What could I have done better? And so I try to, everything's a constructive process. So we have our records of what we've done. We know what happened. We have, that institutional knowledge now. Yeah. And so you just tweak things moving forward. You don't beat yourself up. You don't dwell, because what's in the past is in the past and what's in the future is what's coming up, and that's what we look forward to. So we make those tweaks and adjustments with our training regimen, with our practice times, with our opponents for next season to keep getting better. So it's never a negative reflection. It's what are the ways that we can control, that we can get ourselves better and get more people to ECACs, more swimmers and divers to nationals? How do we keep getting better every day? And making better swimmers, better divers, and better student athletes really is what it comes down to.
When you look back on the ECACs, what are your biggest takeaways from being out there, extending the postseason, and having more life in the ECAC? What from this weekend do you feel like was truly special?
The way that we all came together. When you come from kind of LeMoyne in the Northeast 10, our Division II background, and you find yourself warming up next to Yale and Princeton and Navy, Bucknell, the MAC champion rider, and you go, okay, cool. Yeah. You recognize that there's a brand on their shirt, but at the end of the day, they're just swimmers like you, and they do the same things, right? They have the same snacks on the pool deck. They have the same warm-up routine. They have the same stretching routine. The way that they prepare for the races is the same. And once you get on that block and you hear that beep, it doesn't matter what's on the cap. It's what's inside you as a swimmer. And so, yeah, there's this branding and there's this little bit of a shock value, but at the end of the day, it's 25 yards one way or 75 feet, and you just got to get to that wall first, and that's what it comes down to.
I love hearing that, the way that you describe that. Like you said, on the cap there's a logo, but at the end of the day, underneath the cap, these are all student athletes. These are all people that are, looking to obviously do the best that they can at the sport that they love, but you can't get caught up in seeing that logo and thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is this team, this is that team." Do you feel like your student athletes kind of let that all go and really did lock in and say, "You know what? Yeah, there's a lot of people here, incredible, teams and logos and individuals and whatnot. But we're LeMoyne. We know who we are. We know what we could do. It's not like they changed the pool. It's not like they, did different things in here. So do you feel like your team was able to lock in and say, yeah, we're not going to let this moment be too big for us?
Yeah, it wasn't too big. It was, who can we take down next? Who's next? Who can we set our sights on? Who can we beat? Who it becomes a little bit of a game in a way of, we're just as good. We're just as accomplished. We can do it. Not that I never thought we couldn't, but you got to believe it. You gotta realize that all of a sudden, okay, we can make this happen. When we got there on Thursday afternoon, we walk in and we have Yale in our hotel and Manhattan College and Army, and we go, okay, here we go, right into the belly of the beast here. And all of a sudden you realize, hey, they're staying at the same hotel as us. Hey, they're staying, eating at the same places as us. They're waking up at the same time. All of these things are similar, and before you know it, we're here, we're there, we earned our right. Let's go get this, and that's what we did.
And I love the fact that the team had the opportunity to do this in ECACs here with LeMoyne Dolphins, men's and women's swimming and diving head coach Adam Zaczkowski. Adam, for you personally, what's this journey been like? Because you and I spoke right after you were named as the head coach of this program. We spoke early on as you were getting set. We spoke during the season on what your takeaways were and what you feel like was working and different things you were learning. And we've spoken beyond that here in the postseason. So I've gotten a feel and kind of a pulse of your journey through this season. But how do you look at it when you sit back and see that, this is year one for you as the head coach? What has put a smile on your face, essentially?
The camaraderie you build with the student athletes, the trust, the we do it as a team, even though it's an individual sport. Those are the memories you cherish. You watch those swimmers and those divers go from, not knowing what's going to happen to having this laser focus. So that's what I really take away. That's what I know what we build on, right? It's building confidence and trust so that next year, what are we going to do better? How are we going to do better? When are we going to get back in the pool? Because in 30 days from now, Dan, we got spring training starting. And so,
Yeah.
but I used to coach a guy here locally in Syracuse named John Burgos. He was a swimmer out of Nottingham. And he said to me one time, he goes, Coach Adam, I said, what's that? He goes, championships come and go, but the swim season never ends. And you know what? It's true. It never ends, man. We're right back in it. We are about 315 or so days from Northeast 10s again next year, and we're ready to go.
For you, do you love that? I mean, do you love the fact that it's always there? Is it just kind of like at this point ingrained in your skin that this is life? I mean, how do you because you and I were joking off the air that baseball season for MLB, they have December and January kind of, but they taken up the rest of the year at this point, February to November. I remember my Anaheim Ducks in the NHL hoisted the Stanley Cup, and I felt like a week later they were talking about next season, and I didn't even get a chance to really enjoy. I was like, wait, can we have the Stanley Cup for a couple days before we talk about next season? So for you, I mean, is it in the skin that this is life, this is what I got, and there's really no days off?
the days off are more of, let's go as a team, let's go hiking, let's go and do a ropes course, let's go do something else. So it's not swimming all the time. I don't want to make anybody think it's not that, right? I guess I don't know any other way. This is the way that I was brought up in the swimming culture. This is the way that, a 5-year-old Adam swimming my first swim meet at Yale University, swimming in the summer and swimming in the fall. It's just the culture of the sport. And so, we sit back and we think about ways to make it more interesting and ways to keep it fresh. But with these kinds of endurance sports, it's not just the physical preparation, it's the mental preparation. It's putting that time in so that when you need to get that extra speed or that extra gear, you have that emotional and physical confidence to know you can do it. And it's what we do. It's what our industry does, is what my sport does. And so, the nice thing, or maybe the scary thing, is that the level doesn't matter. You're top of the line Division I folks, your Olympians, all the way down to your, the smallest of small schools. This is what we do as a sport, and this is the expectation, and everybody knows it. And you don't have to teach that. It's ingrained. What we need to do is foster it and keep people excited to keep getting in it every day.
Why do you love it?
Swimming has the highest highs and the lowest lows. When you win or you have that breakthrough performance, there is no other feeling I've ever had in sport. Growing up, I did other sports. I did triathlon, I did baseball and basketball. And knowing that you're the one ultimately that got on that block and stared down everybody else and broke through, there's nothing higher than that. I suspect it's a similar feel in track and running. But the lows are brutal. It turns into, what could I have done? Frequently when you watch swimmers at nationals or when they're interviewed on NBC after the Olympics, they're like, oh, you won the gold medal. And they lots of times they go, yeah, I could have went faster. And so there's this twisted sense of, yeah, that was good, but I know I can do something better. No one's ever said that's the fastest I can go. Everyone said, I'll do this. And so what do you love about it? It's that constant progression to get better. What can I do to make myself better? And it turns into kind of like the way that you live your life,
And the record breaking this season, I mean, I didn't keep an exact tally, but I think there was about 147 records broken. So, but I mean, it was a consistent, like, almost every time I would check your feed, something was happening this season. I mean, how proud are you of the student athletes that, be it their personal best or a school best or whatever it is, that there was just this wave, pun fully intended, of just consistently breaking records and pushing the term, like you said, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And when you're in those lows, to say, how do I fix this? How do I get better? How can I personally, attack this next time? And so many times have we seen highs this season, which are really special.
We talk about focusing on the process. In a sport in which you have timing, it's easy to say, I want to go this time, and you focus on, our scoreboard has red numbers. We talk about focusing on the red numbers, and we don't focus on red numbers. We focus on the process. We talk about the daily ins and outs of getting yourself ready before practice, making sure we have proper nutrition and proper sleep, and making sure you get your business done during the day so that you can focus on your school when needed and your swimming. And so once you build that synergy of process and recognizing that long-term your success is inevitable, you may have short-term failures, but you're going to have long-term success because we know that success is there because of the process we use. That's how you build these wins over and over again. And it's about recognizing that those short little victories yield big results at the end. And we've spent a lot of time this year changing that thought of and building that culture of one little step forward here is going to yield massive results at the end.
That coming here from Adam Zaczkowski. Been on the show so much, he's like a preset in the studio now. So we appreciate having him here. LeMoyne Dolphins men's and women's swimming and diving head coach on a fantastic season. Justin Byrne, we send our best to him and all of his loved ones as he gets set for Indy, and Adam will be out there with him, supporting him. So a lot of great stuff to come, and obviously to the coach of West Jenny and an untimely passing over the last couple of years, we send our continued condolences and much love and appreciation. That West Genesee community is so deep and near and dear to my heart, as is all of Central and Upstate New York. So prayers to all of you that need it. Many thanks to all of you that have continued to be with us and support these Dolphins as a whole, as well as this swimming and diving team. Adam, as always, I can't thank you enough for the work that you do, for joining me in Dolphin Dive, and for as busy as that paper schedule becomes, for always finding some time to carve out to be here. Means the world to me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Dan, we appreciate, we in the swimming community don't necessarily get, the opportunity to showcase ourselves. We don't, sometimes don't get that media attention. And so you helping us get our message out and saying that, our sport is something that should be celebrated, something that really goes deep within our team. And so we appreciate this time whenever we can get it, because we know that, we have those other bigger sports that people and folks talk about all the time, and I get it, but having that recognition helps us kind of keep pushing every day. So we thank you and your audience for listening to us and engaging with us. So thank you for that.
Well, as I said last night when I was talking to a good friend of mine, there's not a single person that's higher in my book or in my brain or my heart than anybody else. So every sport deserves the spotlight, and I'm more than happy to do it, and more than thankful to you and your student athletes for being so welcoming and so kind to me. So thank you for that beyond everything else. All right, well, that coming from Adam Zaczkowski. Thank you, sir. I'll talk with you soon.
Thanks, Dan. Fins up.
All right, take care. Fins up. That coming from Adam Zaczkowski one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.